The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Calling to order the Village of Royal Palm Beach Education Advisory Board annual organizational meeting for Monday, August 10th, 2026. Let's first start by standing to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Chairman Sergio Herrera.
Present.
Vice Chair Paula Wilson.
Here.
Dr. Tanya Small.
Present.
Adesi Suarez, absent. And Mayor Jeff Amara.
Here.
I'd first like to make a motion to appoint Paula Wilson as the chair of the Education Advisory Board for the school year 2026-2027. May I ask who would like to be the chair of the Education Advisory Board for the 2026-2027 school year?
I'd like to nominate myself as chair of the Education Advisory Board for the 2026-2027 school year.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Paula Wilson as the chair of the Education Advisory Board for the 2026-27 school year.
I second.
Motion passes. And may I ask who would like to volunteer to be the vice chair of the Education Advisory Board of 2026-2027 school year? I would like to nominate myself, Sergio, as the vice chair of the 2026-2027 school year. Can I have a second? Motion passes.
You guys gonna switch? Pass the gavel.
I'd like to turn it over to Paula Wilson. Here you go.
Thank you. Thank you. So moving forward, I would like to read for the record the dates of our meetings for this school year. We have Monday, September 14th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Monday, October 5th, 2026 at 6 p.m., noting date changes due to Columbus Day holiday and Village Hall being closed on October 12th. Monday, November 9th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Monday, December 14th, 2026 at 6 p.m. There will be no meeting in January. Monday, February 8th, 2027 at 6 p.m. Monday, March 8th, 2027 at 6 p.m. The date in April is to be determined for scholarship interviews. And finally, Monday, May 10th, 2027 at 6 p.m. Our next item on our agenda is the selection of liaisons for the following schools: Crestwood Middle School, Cypress Trails Elementary School, H.L. Johnson Elementary School, Royal Palm Beach Community High School, Royal Palm Beach Elementary School, and Western Academy Charter School. I'm going to open to the board if you would like to claim one of these schools to be a liaison, and then we'll go from there.
Formally requesting Western Academy Charter School.
Any objection? Okay.
I'd like to claim Royal Palm Beach Community High School.
Any objection? I think if it's okay with everyone, I would like to take Crestwood again for the third year. I think we have a good thing going so far. And then the remaining schools will be up for grabs to the incoming board members and also absent board members. So do we need to make a motion? Yes. Okay.
Can I request another school?
So it's my understanding that everybody has one school only this year. So I think we've done it just as we're supposed to. So I would like to ask for a motion.
Motion to appoint Tanya to approve the appointments of the school liaisons.
Need a second? Did you get a second?
Second.
So motion to approve the school liaisons as previously discussed passes unanimously. So moving along to the chair's initiative, I do have a few thoughts about this, and I'd really like feedback if possible. But I was really inspired at the scholarship interviews over the last couple of years at how many students say that their most inspiring person's their parent. I think we have that over and over again. We also have lots of data that shows that parent involvement in their child's education has higher outcomes overall. So I'd like to propose that or that my chair's initiative focuses on parental involvement this year. I would like for the schools presenting to highlight whatever programs they offer for parent participation in schools, and if possible, maybe include parent testimonials as part of the presentations. I think it, number one, sort of reinforces what the data shows, but also I think could be an opportunity to encourage more community members to attend the meetings, to have knowledge of the meetings. And so I thought that could be a cool thing to focus on this year. Any thoughts? Anyone?
I believe that's a great idea. I like it. You know, we're like going full circle. Normally we have just the principals and the students. And, you know, we have some parents if their child is involved, but you're trying to reach a greater parent audience, and I like it.
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking, you know, a lot of the parents come and leave, but maybe if they have a speaking role that they would be more inclined to stay for the meetings or tell, you know, other community members about them. So those are my ideas. What do you think, Mayor Hamera?
I think it's a great idea. I like the idea of pulling more people into these meetings. They bring different perspectives, but then they also have a sense of ownership, which is really what we keep trying to do, is to encourage people to be engaged with their schools in a meaningful way. So I think it's an excellent idea. It really is.
Thank you. All right, so I think that I'll move forward with that as my chair's initiative. Does a motion need to be made, or do I communicate the language to you via email?
No, you don't have to. We'll get it in the record.
Okay, perfect. Awesome, thank you. So moving on, we are supposed to have a report from Central Region, but I don't see anyone here representing that. So should I make a motion to table this agenda item?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing to do. I don't know that there's a very good alternative, quite frankly. Yeah, why don't we table it, and we will begin full-blown at the September meeting.
Sounds good. Does Mr. Roberts' rules need us to make a formal motion to table an agenda item? Yes, okay. So I would like to make a motion to table the reports from Central Region District and principals to our September 14th meeting. Anyone second?
Second.
Any objections? Motion passes unanimously.
Well, if you don't mind, though, Madam Chair,
Yes,
if you're finishing up.
I am finishing up. I yield.
So What I would say is, for the record, we do have a hard copy of a presentation from the Central region. So just so everybody knows that we do have that information. Obviously, there are a lot of things going on. First of all, let me wish everybody Happy New Year. Did you get it? New school year? Okay. And we have some New Year's resolutions to go along with it. Your initiative is a great resolution. I think it's a step in the right direction. When I sent out the email earlier, I asked Jacqueline to do that, it was for a couple of purposes. Just one, to kind of reset things and stimulate some conversation if there is anything around any of the information I put out there. Obviously, we greatly appreciate everybody's participation, and especially as it kind of grows and expands and becomes more meaningful. I think the idea of supporting the schools, you know, the phrase, it takes a village. Well, it really does in so many ways, but I can't think of an area where that is more true than working with our schools. Every aspect of our community, engaging with our schools, makes those schools better in so many different ways, not the least of which is a better understanding of what's going on at those schools. So with that thought in mind, one of the things that I shared with everybody was kind of a summary of what our bylaws say, if you will. It's a resolution that was passed by the council, actually establishing it and revising the purpose and the way that we conduct business here as the Education Advisory Board in Royal Palm Beach some years ago. But more importantly, it's a matter of the way that we actually engage with our schools. And I think one of the most important things that we do, in addition to the showcase, which now we are going to take to another level by involving parents, which I think is a great idea, is our school liaison. That work is really the kind of thing that brings to the rest of the board an understanding of what's going on at a level of detail that without the liaison's engagement, they probably would not know, and therefore not be as well equipped to advocate for the schools. From my point of view and my experience in dealing with the Education Advisory Board and seeing what results come about, my impression is that by being good advocates, meaning we're able to demonstrate through knowledge, firsthand experience, anecdotes, and data that our schools are really good and making strides in the right direction. That encouragement lifts the schools themselves. We wouldn't have the principals here as we normally do in the numbers that we normally do if they didn't find value in it. I also know that being able to actually respond to concerns that are expressed by various members of the community is something that makes our position unique and powerful. We have a platform. It's both here for the meetings and then also out in the community. So I want to encourage everybody to, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here, but for all of us who are involved to make sure that we do engage with the schools. And it doesn't have to be a big formal thing. Just showing up at an event is really important. Letting the principal know, because they like to kind of brag about the fact that they've got their Education Advisory Board representative there. It makes a difference. So I just want to encourage everybody to do more of that. I had another thought, though, that I wanted to mention, and it's something new, and it doesn't require any formal adjustment to anything because we have normally an opportunity for public comment. And as I said, it takes a village to engage with the schools and to lift those schools. And so one of the things I was thinking about was taking up an initiative, inviting various organizations that actually engage with our schools on their own to actually come in and talk about their engagement with the schools during a public comment period. For example, Royal Palm Beach Rotary has a very active Interact Club. And the students in that club are involved in a lot of community service activities, everything from engaging with Capstone and the residents at Capstone, the seniors over there, to helping us clean up Okeechobee Boulevard, no small undertaking, to other community service kind of activities connected with the Rotary Club of Royal Palm Beach. And I was thinking, And there are a lot of new initiatives this year coming that have to do with the students. And I was thinking that it would be good to use this platform to get the word out about the various community organizations that engage with our schools, what they're doing with their schools. And also, since we'll have the principals here, might be telling them something they don't know, and thereby enhance the engagement and encourage more engagement. So unless someone has something about that they think would be better doing it in a different way, or perhaps not doing it. I'm not just talking about the community service organizations, nonprofits. I'm also talking about colleges, Palm Beach State College. I'd love to hear something during one of our meetings about what's going on at PBSC and how they're engaging with Royal Palm Beach High School and those kinds of things. And then we have South University as well, which we've just really struck up a closer relationship with between the Village and South University, and it physically exists right here in Royal Palm Beach. There are a lot of opportunities, I think, that kind of engagement can take place, but we can move it forward and increase it by just making people aware of it. So I thought, again, using the platform that the Education Advisory Board has during the public comment session might be a good way to do that. So what do you all think about that?
I like the idea. I was thinking, I mean, we could formalize and maybe call it a community involvement report instead of having it at the end during public comment.
Okay.
Just a thought.
Any other thoughts? I mean, that's something I think if we set it up. By the way, I didn't mention the businesses. You know, each one of the schools talks about usually the relationships they have with one business or another, Lion Country Safari or Dominic and Vinny's or wherever it might happen to be. That works for everybody in so many different ways. And again, just putting it in front of people increases the likelihood that there's going to be that connection made, which is that village doing the kind of work that a village does for something as important as our schools. So perhaps we can come up with a title for that as an agenda item on a regular basis, and then it'd be
Community
a matter
and
of just,
business report
we,
or something.
sounds good to me. And again, it'd be inviting one or more of various organizations that do engage with our schools, support our schools, to get a little exposure for what they're doing, and then to get exposure also to the members of our school community as well, so as to enhance that and increase that. So that was one additional thing I did want to offer up. And I noticed that,
Yes.
yes, our
So we had
superintendent
previously.
has, I knew if I stalled long enough, she'd show up. No, timing is perfect then. Let's put it that way, all right? So
Do we need to
unless there's-
formalize the change in agenda?
I thought you guys were doing
Okay.
your meeting first, and I was coming in after, so
That's fine. So,
I'm here now.
yeah, unless there's any other further discussion on that, those were just the points I wanted to make. And I want to thank you all so much for doing what you do and being engaged with the schools. I think it's a great experience. I know I get as much out of it as I contribute to any of the schools. So thank you for that. So.
Yes.
You notice he didn't take my picture.
Don't take it personal. And I want to echo your thoughts as well. Thank you. Again, I look forward to another amazing school year. We have a lot to celebrate from last school year, and you know, we do need to take a moment, right, to celebrate all of the great work that's been done by our students in the Village of Royal Palm last school year, as well as our staff, our teachers, our principals, and all. So that's the first thing I like to be able to do. And then we're going to, of course, I want to remind you about greetings from Mr. Burke and Deputy Superintendent Wyatt, as well as Ms. Andrews. Greetings also from Ms. Andrews. Today was the first day of school. So I'm happy to report that I just cleared out, did an all clear for all Central Region schools. So all the youngsters are home safe for the first day. And, oftentimes, our focus really on the first day of school and the first couple of days of school is to make sure that the students arrive, that they're fed, that they learn the routines, that they learn the expectations of the school and the grade level for them, and then that they arrive home safely. And that really is our priority the first couple of days. And we also, dig into a little bit of learning as well. So we had a great first day today. So I want to remind everyone that we have maintained our A rating as a school district, and that is the work of everyone, everyone included, so and all stakeholders. So we are really, really happy and thankful about that. Because all of our districts, and not just Palm Beach, but a lot of the schools in the districts did really well last school year. You know how that goes. Is that an elevator clause? That when everybody does well, then that means that the benchmark and the expectation rises. And so all of our schools have to be able to perform even at a higher level to be able to maintain what they just earned. So this year sunsets our strategic plan that we've had for the past 5 years. And all of these initiatives have already been completed, except for we are continuing the last 4. So 10 out of 14 of those initiatives are now standard operational norms. And we are still working on pre-K through 3rd grade literacy, expanding evidence-based reading instruction. And our goal, of course, is to get our students to start to read so that they can read to learn as soon as possible. Or by, for sure, 2nd grade. By 3rd grade, they should already be learning to read, reading to learn. So it's the opposite. So it's that shift, and really focusing on making that shift occur earlier in their primary grades. We're also focused around the pathway to possibilities. As you know, you with Royal Palm Beach High School have the AI program that's, that has started, and it's really going to grow. We're really excited about that program. And so it is one of the pathways to possibilities, and it is here at Royal Palm Beach High School. In addition to that, it goes along with AI, with artificial intelligence, as well as all of the other academies that are available at the Village, at the Royal Palm Beach High School, as well as middle school, and the pre-ACE that we have offered at Crestwood, and so on. We will continue catching the wave with improving, strengthening, and consistently providing high-quality customer service to our parents and our communities. So we will continue to work on that as well. So this is the school grades from last school year. As you can see, all of the schools from last year with an A have, the elementary schools have maintained their A. Now, Crestwood Middle came in as a B, but they're actually on an appeal. Remember the same type of situation occurred with Cypress Trails, and they won the appeal? We feel pretty good about Crestwood earning their, or getting their appeal passed. So we're hoping that the letter will be changing into an A again. But I just wanted to put it there of the possibility, whereas last time I didn't even put it there as a possibility, even though we were working towards the appeal. We feel pretty confident, but until it actually happens, we're not going to celebrate it yet. But that's where we are. Some of the Central Region priorities, which also speak to the work that we're doing at the Village of Royal Palm, is improve student attendance. That's one of our priorities. By implementing the early warning systems to identify and support those chronic absent students, we are also partnering with families to resolve those barriers like transportation and health. We are cultivating and welcoming school environments that encourage also daily attendance, because we recognize it as a partnership. We want to continue to improve K-3 literacy by delivering that evidence-based reading instruction aligned to the science of reading. Our teachers have gone through quite a bit of PL, professional learning, during preschool, and we really have aligned our, we have a new adoption for ELA this year, which is still benchmark. It's the same adoption, the same company, but they really have improved their product. And they have really taken a lot of the recommendations from the school district of Palm Beach County and have rewritten their curriculum to be able to support the work that we're doing as well. So it's excellent this year. Also provide early screening and targeted small group intervention at a young age so that we can be more proactive rather than reactive later on. And like I mentioned, we have been training our teachers on that foundational literacy, phonics, and those comprehension strategies. So we're even tweaking with the way that we're teaching our small group to be able to make sure that we meet the needs of all students. And then the one area that we would like to sustain, because we really are doing a great job as a district and as a region with math, also with civics, U.S. history, and science. This last year was our highest performance to date in math and in science of all of our schools, so much so that even a few of our schools outperformed the state and outperformed Palm Beach County. So we really did a nice job with that. And I do believe that it's because of the implementation of a spiral review that we started about 2 years ago. And now the teachers are getting really good at it. And so it's just good practice. And as you know, with math, it's practice and repeat, practice and repeat, practice and repeat. It's very concrete, sequential. So we found a way that our students are able to practice on a daily basis and master those concepts. And we're seeing in the data now, we're seeing in the results. So we will continue that spiral review so that we can continue that momentum, sustain it. And then the same thing with science, continue those spiral reviews, implementations that we started. So we really have been working very hard on the math and science side to be able to do that, as well as in civics and U.S. history, expand more hands-on civics projects, and critical thinking opportunities as well. So we really are focused around those 3 areas as far as academics goes. And that's it. I don't have any updates from the schools yet because this is like a pre-meeting. Well, that's why it's just myself, at least sharing with you where we are and what our priorities are.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Do any of my fellow board members have comments? Dr. Small.
I have a question. I'm not sure if it's page 5. I didn't see numbers on all the pages, but just looking back on the strategic plan update, and where it says K-3 literacy, and the initiative is to improve the K-3 literacy, and so that they learn to read, then they read to learn by the time they get to 3rd grade, so that we're not doing the backtrack like you said. So what I want to know is what are some of the strategies that we're using? Because when the kids read, the more they just read, but sometimes in the classroom don't always have the time for them just to read independently. So what strategies are they using that's going to help us to maybe reach that goal?
That's a great question. So we've done some adjustments in our reading block. One of the things that we're doing, in addition to the state-required 90-minute block of reading, we have added an extra 30 minutes to teach specifically phonics, phonemic awareness and phonics. And we use, our schools use one or the other programs. One of them is Foundations and the other one is UFly. And so each school has selected which program they integrate into the literacy block as well. So they have an independent, a separate block outside of the literacy block to teach phonics intently, and then what they do is then they take the lessons or the focus of whatever blend or whatever letter sound that they're working on, and they bring it into the block through the whole group as well as through then the small group. So when are the students reading independently? Well, in rotation, when the teacher is working with a small group of students, other students are either working on the technology piece, which is adaptive, which we use iReady, or they're working independently on reading on their own with some sort of accountable task, so that we know for sure that the kids are not reading and not that they're wasting time acting like they're reading and not really reading. So they also have a task to do for accountability purposes. So they're getting a lot more. We recognize that our students need more time reading text, and so we have increased that time during the blocks.
Thank you. I certainly hope that works.
Yes,
and I'm
we do
your
too.
advocate.
We've been tweaking this for years now, and we recognize that is our soft spot,
Yes.
and we have to get better at it. And so we've been working many different ways, even visiting other districts to see what it is that they're doing, to see how they're getting their success. And so we're learning from others, and we too are learning from our own schools that are doing a really good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I've got one. You mentioned AI program. I thought when we discussed last year, we were looking at possibly a quantum computing program.
That's correct, quantum.
So is it both? I mean, I don't know how we escape the idea of dealing with AI from so many different directions.
Right.
And I'm just interested in either one or both of those topics. What kind of program are we looking at?
So quantum is integrates AI, right? So
Right.
so the program, the choice program that's available, AI is going to be intertwined through that program, through quantum. In addition to that, our school district also has developed a policy for AI use. So a policy not only for adults, for our teachers, but also for student use. And so we have to get to a place where we're teaching our students to use AI responsibly because it is our world. It is the way it is now. So, and we want to be able to prepare our students to also be knowledgeable on how to use AI because that is the future workforce, right? So it's quantum, it's really right now wrapped around quantum, how we are interjecting the AI as far as the choice program and programming. But we are certainly looking at other ways in which students outside of the quantum program are also integrating through the AI.
So is there a particular idea about how the teachers are dealing with AI? And I mean, fortunately, I hadn't taught 10 years, 12 years, and I am so glad I'm not having to deal with this right now. It was tough enough to deal with plagiarism and
Right.
and Google and those things when I was teaching, and now we are at orders of magnitude greater levels of challenge and trying to encourage the thought process, which is really what the education is all about. Is there a particular approach that the school district is taking on this?
So on the teacher front, so this is twofold. On the teacher front, our teachers are actually using AI quite a bit. We're using AI for the purpose of developing even text-dependent questions or for lesson planning. We're using AI for data analysis of students' work and what next steps are. So we are using AI as adults to be able to help inform us on how to instruct our students better. Mm-hmm. On the student front, we are teaching our students how to use AI responsibly. And we really are at the surface on that. We haven't developed any particular program per se as it relates to what the guardrails are with the use of AI with students. But it's on the surface now. It depends. Right now it's teacher dependent. Some of our teachers are really good at having the students use AI in a way that they're able to complete projects and whatnot that does not go towards the plagiarism route. Other students are using it for research base, but that the final product is done by the student. So there are many different ways, but at this time, we're still developing it. We're not there yet.
It would seem that there are probably school systems, school districts in various places throughout the country that maybe have done some breakthrough stuff. And I know that typically most of the governmental agencies I've ever been involved in, one of the blessings is we can steal from each other
Right.
and claim that we're taking best practices. Private sector doesn't work that way. I'm just wondering if you all are in search of or have already found ways to do some peer work and that type of thing in this area. Because this, I don't need to tell you, is moving so rapidly.
It is.
That it's going to take, we were talking about a village, right? It's going to
Yes.
take a village among the educational systems in our
Yes.
country.
Yeah, and we
deal
want to
with
make
this.
sure, too, that our students' academic growth is not hindered by AI, right? So otherwise, that they are truly learning and not just using AI to get to the answers and not learning. So that's that balance. That's that balance.
Well,
So
I know
we're
the
working
goal.
through that, right?
Yeah, I know the goal. The question
Right.
is how do you get there? And someone told me one of the ways that some individuals have approached this is by requiring more spoken results.
Mm-hmm.
Require the student to actually address, demonstrate, exhibit.
Project-based.
Exactly, more project-based kinds of work.
And we're going to be learning a lot through quantum, through the work that we're doing with quantum, that I do believe that it's going to spread out through Royal Palm Beach High School and beyond, because we do have a lot of learning to do from that whole project. And I do believe that from that project, we're going to learn how to do better and how to better prepare our students.
No shortage of challenges.
That is for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Valerie, can you speak to, and this is touching up on AI, and I know that you had mentioned that the school district was just getting in its infancy over developing any kind of guardrails for it, but are you, or is the district including mental health, behavioral health, like that sort of problem into their equation? Not just plagiarism or anything academically, but this is more lonely students for kids that search out chat bots or AI bots or AI girlfriends or whatnot. Are they including that in their research for the guardrails? Or is it just primarily focused on education or plagiarism or that sort of like the easy way out? Like I really want to make sure that that's touched upon because it is a growing problem. I've seen it. I mean, you've seen it. So if you could speak to that.
So what we have at this time is called Lightspeed, and it is a program that is able to identify when students type anything in that's not appropriate, and it goes straight to like a system that notifies the school right away, and then it then notifies our mental health workers and our school counselors and whatnot, and they intervene immediately. So we already do have that in place. However, looking at identifying those students without having Lightspeed help us out, it would have to be somewhere within our school counseling department. But that is something, that's a very good point for me to bring up and bubble up, to talk about how do we manage those students that are perhaps, when we find out, and sometimes we just don't know, right? That's a challenge. Sometimes you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. It's how do we have our students, besides having that safe person, because our goal is that every student has a safe person, a person that they can go to on the campus for whatever reason. But up and beyond that, if the student doesn't go to that person, the student doesn't tell a student that then tells another, you just don't know, right? It's how do you capture those students is a challenge. But it is something that we certainly can bring up from the mental health side. The good news is that with the referendum that's coming up, and I wanted to, speak a little bit about that, it really helps us to be able to outfit each school with a BHP, which is very important, and that really helps us with the mental health of students, as well as security also for our campuses.
And since you mentioned the BHP, will they be, I don't know, technically trained in relieving maybe some of the overflow for the actual counselors, the other counselors in schools? Because I've experienced issues where there aren't enough. Their backlog is so behind. Like, personally speaking, my son had to wait like 7 months to even be seen by one of the counselors to be tested for gifted, and we knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was clearly there, but it took us that long for anybody to even mention it. And this was after multiple attempts at reaching the actual counselor over and over again. So it makes me feel like they're either overwhelmed or overlogged. And if this BHP is there, are they going to help out with relieving or just getting things moved along a little bit faster?
That's completely separate. So for any type of assessment, or let's say an evaluation for some sort of disability or for giftedness, right? It really goes through our ESC department and through the ESC contact. So that's a complete different avenue. Our school counselors, especially at the high school level, they really work with their students on their courses, on their programming, on their graduation status, on their mental health needs. And then the BHP really works with their students that are high needs with mental health, right? So it's almost like a tier of work, and more or less like divide and conquer, right? They each have like their responsibilities around that. But as far as testing, evaluation, we are bound by 6 months. It's supposed to get done. So, and that's through a complete different, again, avenue, through our ESC coordinator. But at any given point, if as a parent, right, and we're going to talk now as a parent, if as a parent you feel that things are not moving fast enough, you let the school know. If you're not getting the service that you are looking for, then call our office, and then we help navigate that much quicker.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much for answering our questions, for presenting. I look forward to hearing how the district continues to work on the remaining 4 initiatives. Definitely, as an English professor, I hear you with with AI. I'm in it day in and day out. So I definitely look forward to hearing those updates.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Likewise.
Happy New Year,
Thank you. I look forward to it. It's going to be a great year.
no doubt.
Would any of my fellow board members like to say anything else before the meeting is adjourned? Okay. Oh,
Get out and vote.
yes.
Get out and vote.
Absolutely.
Just go out. If you haven't done mail-in ballots and you're planning on going out, go out and vote.
Absolutely. Agree. Second, third, fourth, yes, absolutely.
Just a quick recognition to John McGovern over here, just taking care into what we do here at our village for our students in school. So thank you very much for coming, and everyone that attended today.
I look forward to a wonderful school year.
Absolutely.
This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.